My phone recorded everything while I was unconscious at Thanksgiving. I'm staring at my phone screen at 3:47 a.m., my hands shaking as I replay the audio file for the 7th time tonight. The timestamp shows 4 hours and 23 minutes of recording from Thanksgiving Day, and I remember exactly none of it because I was unconscious for all of it. Sarah's always been the fragile one. My Aunt Linda's voice crackles through my earbuds, crystal clear despite being recorded from inside my purse. Even as a kid, always crying, always anxious about something. It won't be hard to convince the court she's not mentally stable enough to handle that kind of money. My Uncle Rick's laugh makes my skin crawl. Especially after today's little performance. Passing out at dinner like that? We'll say it's been happening for months. Stress-related breakdowns, erratic behavior, the whole 9 yards. I pause the recording and press my palms against my eyes, trying to process what I'm hearing. 3 days ago, I thought I just had some kind of panic attack at Thanksgiving dinner. I'd been feeling anxious about being home from college, overwhelmed by all the family chaos, and then suddenly I was waking up in my childhood bedroom with my mom hovering over me, worried sick. "You just collapsed, honey," she'd said. "Right after you finished eating." The doctor said it was probably stress and exhaustion. But now I know better. Now I know why my aunt insisted on making my plate personally, why she was so adamant I try her special stuffing recipe. Why she kept checking on me every few minutes, asking if I was feeling alright. I hit play again, my stomach churning as their conversation continues. The beautiful thing is, we don't even need to do anything permanent, Linda says, and I can hear her moving around what sounds like the kitchen. Just get her declared incompetent long enough to challenge the will. Once we get control of the trust, we can always have her recover later. Assuming she doesn't figure it out first, Rick warns. How could she? She was out cold for hours. And even if she suspects something, who's going to believe her? Poor, anxious Sarah with her panic attacks and mental health issues, making wild accusations against family members who've only ever tried to help her. They're talking about my grandmother's will. My Nana, who died 6 months ago and left me her house in Vermont along with a trust fund worth $400,000. Money that was supposed to help me finish college and start my adult life without drowning in debt. Money that Linda and Rick apparently decided should be theirs instead. I scroll back to see how this recording even exists. My phone shows that I'd opened a voice memo app at 2:17 p.m. on Thursday, right around the time I started feeling dizzy during dinner. I must have been trying to record myself, maybe thinking I was having a panic attack and wanting to document it for my therapist. Instead, when I passed out, the app kept running inside my purse, which I'd left on the kitchen counter. The same kitchen counter where Linda and Rick spent the next 4 hours planning to destroy my life. We'll start small, Linda's voice continues from the recording. Get testimonies from family about her concerning behavior over the years. Remember that time she had that breakdown during finals? And she's been seeing that therapist since high school. We can spin that as evidence of ongoing mental instability. My hands clench into fists. That breakdown was a panic attack during my sophomore year when I was taking 6 classes and working 2 part-time jobs. The therapy they're mocking? It's the only reason I've been able to function and maintain a 3.8 GPA despite my anxiety. But they want to weaponize my mental health struggles against me. The recording continues, and I hear the clink of dishes being washed. They're cleaning up while casually discussing how to ruin me. The timing couldn't be better, Rick says. Sarah's back at college in 3 weeks. We filed a competency petition right after New Year's, claims she's been having episodes since Thanksgiving. By the time she even knows what's happening, we'll have a court date scheduled. And I already talked to Mitchell and Associates, Linda adds. They specialize in will contests. Apparently, these mental competency challenges are more common than you'd think, especially with younger beneficiaries inheriting substantial amounts. My blood runs cold. They've already consulted lawyers. This isn't just cruel family gossip, they're actively building a case against me. I fast forward through several minutes of them discussing legal strategies I barely understand, then stop when I hear my own name again. What exactly did you give her? Rick asks, his voice lower now. Just a mild sedative, Linda responds casually, like she's discussing the weather. Danny had some leftover from his wisdom tooth surgery. 2 pills crushed up in the gravy on her stuffing. Completely undetectable, and it'll be out of her system in 24 hours. Danny. My cousin Danny, Linda's son, who's in dental school. They used prescription medication to drug me. I grab my laptop and start frantically Googling combinations of wisdom tooth surgery and sedatives, my heart pounding as I read about drugs that can cause unconsciousness, memory loss, and confusion. She went down faster than I expected, Linda continues with what sounds almost like pride. I thought she'd just get drowsy and confused. More dramatic this way, though. Really sold the whole unstable narrative. Mom was worried when Sarah wouldn't wake up for over an hour, Rick says. Mom's 78 and half blind. She doesn't need to know anything beyond poor Sarah had another episode. They're talking about my great-aunt Meredith, Nana's sister, who's been like a second grandmother to me. The thought of her worrying while I was unconscious, not knowing I'd been deliberately drugged, makes me feel sick. I pause the recording and walk to my dorm room window, staring out at the empty campus quad. It's winter break, and almost everyone's gone home. I'm alone with this knowledge, for hours of evidence that my own family members are criminals who assaulted me and are plotting to steal my inheritance. The worst part? They're not wrong about the legal strategy. I do have anxiety. I have been in therapy. I did have that panic attack during finals, and another one at my high school graduation, and several more throughout college. None of that makes me incompetent, but I can see how easily they could twist those facts. I think about my mom, who spent all Thursday night checking on me every hour, bringing me water and toast when I finally woke up Friday morning. She has no idea what really happened. None of my family does, except for Linda and Rick. And Danny. My stomach drops as I realize my cousin helped them drug me. I scroll through my contacts, hovering over my mom's number, but something stops me. It's 4:15 a.m. More importantly, Linda is my mom's sister. They've been close their whole lives. Would Mom even believe me? Or would this just tear our family apart, with me looking like the unstable one making wild accusations? I hit play on the recording again. There's still over 3 hours left, and I need to know exactly what I'm dealing with before I decide who to trust with this information. Because right now, this audio file is the only thing standing between me and losing everything Nana wanted me to have. I'm 2 hours deeper into the recording when I hear something that makes my blood freeze. What about physical evidence? Rick asks. If she ever gets suspicious and goes to a doctor. That's why I called ahead to Dr. Brennan's office, Linda replies smoothly. Told them Sarah had been having episodes at home, that we were worried about her mental state. When your mom brought her in Friday morning, they already had a note in her file about family concerns regarding patient's psychological stability. I actually gasp out loud. Dr. Brennan has been my family doctor since I was 12. My mom took me to see him the day after Thanksgiving because she was worried about my collapse. I remember feeling confused when he kept asking about my stress levels and whether I'd been feeling overwhelmed by normal daily activities instead of running tests for what caused me to pass out. He already thought I was having a mental health crisis before I even walked into his office. You're brilliant, Rick chuckles. So now there's a medical record of concerning behavior right after the incident. And I made sure to mention how the inheritance has been weighing heavily on her, how she seemed unstable since the will reading. Dr. Brennan ate it right up. He even suggested we consider family therapy to help Sarah process the responsibility of sudden wealth. I grab my laptop again and log into the patient portal for Dr. Brennan's office. There it is, in black and white under Friday's visit notes, patient brought in by mother following concerning behavioral episode. Family reports increased anxiety and erratic behavior since recent inheritance. Discussed stress management techniques and recommended psychological evaluation. They poisoned the well. Literally and figuratively. My phone buzzes with a text from my mom, can't sleep, thinking about you. How are you feeling, sweetheart? Still worried about Thursday. I stare at the message, my heart breaking. She's been carrying guilt about my episode for 3 days, probably wondering what she missed, what signs she should have seen. Meanwhile, her own sister drugged her daughter at their family dinner table. I can't text her back. Not yet. Not until I know everything. The recording continues, and I hear them moving to what sounds like the living room. There are voices in the background now. The rest of my family must still be there, probably watching football and eating leftover pie while Linda and Rick plot in whispers. Danny did good keeping quiet during dinner, Linda says. Kid was nervous, but he played it off well. You sure you won't crack if this gets messy? He's in too deep now. Besides, I reminded him about his student loans. Dental school isn't cheap, and if this inheritance gets tied up in court for years, there won't be any family money to help him graduate debt-free. My cousin Danny, who I taught to ride a bike when he was 7. Who came to every one of my high school theater performances. Who texted me good luck before every major exam freshman year. They bought his silence by threatening his financial future and making him complicit in drugging me. I fast forward again, looking for more details about their legal strategy, when I hear something that stops me cold. What about Christmas? Rick asks. Sarah will be home for 2 weeks. That's a lot of opportunities for her to seem unstable in front of the family. Already ahead of you, Linda says, and I can hear the smile in her voice. I've been planting seeds with everyone. Mention to your mother how scattered Sarah seemed at Thanksgiving. Told Aunt Meredith I'm worried about Sarah handling college stress. Even suggested to her parents that maybe the inheritance is too much pressure for someone her age. She's been systematically turning my entire family against me since Thanksgiving. Every conversation, every concerned phone call, it's all been building their case. By Christmas, everyone will already be watching for signs that something's wrong with her. By Christmas, everyone will already be watching for signs that something's wrong with her, Linda continues. And if she doesn't give us enough ammunition naturally, well, Danny still has plenty of those pills left over. My hands start trembling so violently I nearly drop the phone. They're planning to drug me again. At Christmas. In front of the entire family this time. I hear footsteps in the recording, and Linda's voice gets clearer, like she's moved closer to where my purse was sitting. The beauty is, we only need one more incident, she says. Something public, embarrassing. Then we file the petition January 2nd, and we'll have 2 documented episodes plus family testimony. No judge will hesitate to order a competency evaluation. What kind of timeline are we looking at? Rick asks. Mitchell says if we do this right, we could have the will frozen by February and a hearing scheduled for March. Sarah will be in the middle of spring semester, stressed about midterms. She'll be a mess by the time she has to appear in court. I pause the recording and check the date. It's December 22nd now. Christmas Eve is in 2 days. I'm supposed to drive home tomorrow afternoon for 2 weeks with my family. 2 weeks of Linda watching me, waiting for opportunities to make me look unstable. 2 weeks of dodging whatever sedatives she might slip into my food or drinks. My phone buzzes again. This time it's a text from Danny, hey cuz. Excited to see you at Christmas. Mom made your favorite cookies, smiling face with smiling eyes. I stare at the message, bile rising in my throat. Linda made my favorite cookies. The same Linda who crushed up prescription medication and fed it to me 4 weeks ago. The same Linda who's planning to do it again. I screenshot Danny's text, adding it to the folder I've created with all my evidence. Then I keep listening. There's one thing that concerns me, Rick says, his voice dropping lower. What if Sarah recorded something that night? Kids these days are always on their phones. My heart stops. I hold my breath, waiting for Linda's response. She was barely conscious when I took her upstairs, Linda replies dismissively. Besides, I saw her phone sitting right here on the counter the whole time. Screen was black, nothing running. Trust me, Rick, there's no evidence of anything. She's wrong. She's so catastrophically wrong, and she has no idea. I hear my great Aunt Meredith's voice in the background calling for Linda, and the conversation shifts. But I keep listening as they rejoin the family gathering, and I catch fragments of the concerned conversations Linda mentioned. She really is talking to everyone. Sarah seems so overwhelmed at dinner, she tells someone, it sounds like my Uncle Paul. I'm just worried about her, you know? That's a lot of money for a 22-year-old to handle responsibly. Maybe we should all keep an eye on her at Christmas, Paul responds. Make sure she's doing okay. Exactly, Linda agrees. I think she needs more family support right now, more guidance. It might be better if the trust had multiple trustees until she's older, more mature. She's not just building a case for incompetency, she's positioning herself as the concerned family member who should take over managing my inheritance for my own good. I fast forward through more casual conversation until I hear something that makes me sit up straight. Where did you put the leftover pills? Rick asks quietly. Cookie tin in my kitchen, Linda responds. Top shelf, behind the flour. Danny knows where they are in case we need them over the holidays. The same kitchen I've been baking Christmas cookies in every December since I was 8 years old. The same kitchen where I'll be expected to help prepare Christmas dinner in 3 days. I grab a notebook and start writing down every detail, the location of the pills, the law firm they contacted, the doctor's visit, Danny's involvement, their timeline for filing the petition. Everything. Then I open my laptop and start researching lawyers who specialize in elder law and inheritance disputes. If Linda thinks she's the only one who can prepare for a legal battle, she's about to learn exactly how wrong she is. But first, I need to figure out how to survive Christmas without ending up unconscious again. Because now I know they're not just planning to steal my inheritance. They're planning to make sure I can't fight back. The recording is almost over when I hear the most chilling part yet. You know what the real genius of this plan is? Linda says, and I can hear her loading dishes into what must be the dishwasher. Even if Sarah fights the competency petition, the legal fees alone will eat up half her inheritance. Mitchell says these cases can drag on for years if the beneficiary contests them aggressively. So either way, she loses, Rick concludes. Either way, we win. If she's declared incompetent, we get control of the trust. If she fights it and wins, she'll have spent $200,000 on lawyers and be so financially and emotionally drained that she'll be grateful just to have anything left. My pen snaps in half as I grip it too tightly. They've thought of everything. This isn't just theft, it's psychological warfare designed to destroy me regardless of the outcome. The recording finally ends at 6:43 p.m., which means they spent over 4 hours planning my destruction while I was unconscious upstairs. For hours while my mom sat by my bedside, terrified something was seriously wrong with her daughter. I check the time, 5:17 a.m. I'm supposed to drive home in 10 hours, but everything has changed. I can't walk into that house blind anymore, can't pretend everything is normal while Linda watches my every move for signs of instability to document. But I also can't avoid Christmas entirely without giving them exactly the ammunition they need. Sarah's so unstable she can't even handle family gatherings anymore. My phone rings, making me jump. It's my mom. Mom? It's really early. I know, honey, I'm sorry. I couldn't sleep. Her voice sounds exhausted. I keep thinking about Thanksgiving, wondering if I missed something. Dr. Brennan's notes mentioned that you've been under a lot of stress, and I feel like such a terrible mother for not noticing. Mom, stop. My heart breaks hearing her blame herself. You didn't miss anything. You're not a terrible mother. But the inheritance, all that pressure. Linda mentioned she's been worried about you too. She thinks maybe we should have prepared you better for handling that kind of responsibility. There it is. Linda's poison working exactly as intended. What exactly did Linda say? I asked carefully. Just that she's noticed you seem overwhelmed lately. More anxious than usual. She suggested maybe having a family meeting over Christmas to discuss some guidance options for managing the trust. A family meeting. Where they'll have a room full of relatives watching me, judging my every reaction, while Linda presents her case for why I need help managing my inheritance. Mom, can I ask you something? Did Linda seem, I don't know, prepared for what happened at Thanksgiving? Like she knew what to do when I collapsed? There's a long pause. You know, that's an odd question, but now that you mention it, she did take charge very quickly. Insisted you just needed rest, that we shouldn't call an ambulance. She seemed very confident it wasn't serious. Because she knew exactly what she'd given me and how long it would last. Sarah, you're scaring me. Why are you asking about Linda? I close my eyes. I can't tell her. Not over the phone, not when she's already consumed with guilt about Thanksgiving. And definitely not when I don't have a plan yet. Just trying to piece together what happened, I guess. The whole thing is pretty fuzzy. Well, we'll figure it out together, okay? Linda's actually planning something special for Christmas dinner. She wants to make all your favorites since you had such a rough Thanksgiving. She's been asking about your favorite dishes, what you'd want to eat. My blood turns to ice. Linda is planning the Christmas menu. Linda, who has a stash of crushed sedatives hidden in her kitchen and 4 hours of recorded conversation proving she's willing to use them. Mom, actually, I was thinking, what if I cooked Christmas dinner this year? I've learned so many new recipes at college, and I'd love to do something special for everyone. Oh, honey, that's sweet, but Linda's already got everything planned. She's so excited about it. Besides, you should be relaxing during break, not working in the kitchen all day. But I want to help. I could at least handle some of the side dishes. Sarah, Linda specifically said she wants to take care of everything. She feels terrible about what happened at Thanksgiving and wants to make sure Christmas is perfect for you. Perfect for documenting my next episode, she means. Okay, I say quietly. I understand. Are you sure you're feeling up for the drive today? You could always take the train if you're not comfortable driving. No, I'll drive. I'll see you this afternoon. I love you, sweetheart. We're all so excited to have you home. After she hangs up, I sit in the dark staring at my phone. I have less than 12 hours to figure out how to protect myself at a Christmas dinner where my aunt plans to drug me in front of my entire family, using recipes she specifically designed around my favorite foods. I open my laptop and start researching everything I can about the sedatives Danny would have gotten for wisdom tooth surgery. The most common ones are lorazepam, diazepam, and triazolam. All of them can cause drowsiness, confusion, memory loss, and in higher doses, complete unconsciousness. All of them are tasteless when crushed up and mixed into food. But they're also detectable in blood tests for up to 48 hours after ingestion. I grab my phone and call the campus health center's 24-hour nurse line. This is going to sound weird, I tell the nurse who answers, but if someone suspected they'd been drugged with a prescription sedative 4 days ago, would it still show up in tests? 4 days? Probably not in blood, but possibly in urine depending on the specific medication and dosage. Can I ask why you're? It's for a research paper, I lie quickly. About date rape drugs and detection windows. She gives me more information than I expected, including the fact that some sedatives can be detected in hair follicles for weeks after a single dose. After I hang up, I make a decision that terrifies me but feels like my only option. I'm going home for Christmas. I'm going to sit at Linda's table, surrounded by my family, and I'm going to let her try to drug me again. But this time, I'll be ready. I spend the next 3 hours crafting the most important plan of my life. By 8 a.m., I have a strategy that's either brilliant or completely insane. I honestly can't tell which. First, I drive to the CVS off campus and buy a small digital recorder, the kind lawyers use for depositions. It's voice-activated and can record for 12 hours straight. Then I stop at Radio Shack for a wireless microphone system, the kind musicians use for performances. The receiver is tiny, about the size of a thumb drive. Back in my dorm, I practice hiding the recorder in different spots until I find the perfect location, taped inside the decorative wooden fruit bowl that always sits in the center of Linda's dining room table. I've seen that bowl every Christmas for 15 years. It never moves, and it's positioned perfectly to pick up conversations from anywhere in the room. The wireless mic is trickier. After an hour of testing, I figure out how to secure the tiny transmitter inside the frame of my glasses. It's barely visible unless you're looking for it, and the receiver can stay in my pocket. But the most crucial part of my plan involves my friend Jessica, who's staying on campus through break for a research internship. I call her at 9:30 a.m. I need the weirdest favor, I tell her. And I can't explain why until after Christmas. Okay, now I'm intrigued. I need you to call me at exactly 8:47 p.m. on Christmas Day. When I answer, don't say anything for 10 seconds, then hang up. If I don't answer, keep calling every 3 minutes until I do. Sarah, what the hell is going on? I promise I'll explain everything next week. But Jessica, this is really important. If something seems wrong when I answer, if I sound confused or slurred or weird, I need you to immediately call 911 and tell them to send an ambulance to 847 Maple Street in Riverside. Tell them you think someone's been drugged. There's a long silence. Are you in danger? Should I call the police right now? I'm handling it. But I need that safety net, okay? 8:47 p.m., Christmas Day. Promise me. I promise. But Sarah, if you don't call me by Thursday with a full explanation, I'm driving up there myself. The drive home takes 4 hours, and I use every minute to rehearse. I practice sounding normal while mentally cataloging everything I eat and drink. I rehearse casual conversations while testing the recording equipment. Most importantly, I practice acting surprised and confused when the sedatives kick in. Because if this works, if I can catch Linda in the act while recording everything, I won't just have evidence of their past crimes. I'll have proof of an ongoing criminal conspiracy that no court can ignore. My mom greets me with a hug that lasts forever. You look tired, honey. Are you sure you're feeling okay? Just stressed about finals, I lie, setting my bag down in the foyer. Is Linda already here? She's in the kitchen working on tomorrow's prep. She's been here since noon, so excited about making everything perfect for you. I walk toward the kitchen, my hidden recorder already running, and find Linda elbow deep in cookie dough. She looks up with the biggest smile. Sarah. There's my beautiful niece. How are you feeling, sweetheart? Any more episodes since Thanksgiving? No, I'm good, I say, watching her hands as she shapes cookies. Thanks for doing all this cooking. You really don't have to go to so much trouble. Nonsense. After what happened last time, I want to make sure Christmas is absolutely perfect. She pauses, studying my face. You do look a little pale, though. Are you sure you're getting enough rest? She's already building the narrative. Documenting my appearance, establishing that I seemed unwell before dinner even begins. I'm fine, I repeat, then add casually, hey, do you need help with anything? I could start on the side dishes. Actually, I've got everything handled. Why don't you just relax? You shouldn't be doing heavy work when you're clearly stressed about school. Translation, stay out of my kitchen while I prepare your drugs. That evening, I test my recording equipment one final time. Everything works perfectly. The audio is crystal clear, the wireless mic is undetectable, and Jessica confirms she has my number programmed into her phone with multiple alarms set for tomorrow night. But as I lie in my childhood bed, staring at the ceiling, one terrifying thought keeps circling through my mind. What if I'm wrong about the dosage? What if Linda decides that one more episode isn't enough, and she gives me something stronger this time? My phone buzzes with a text from Danny, can't wait for tomorrow. Mom's been cooking all day. She made enough food to feed an army face with tears of joy. I stare at the laughing emoji, wondering if my cousin has any idea what his mother is really preparing for Christmas dinner. In 18 hours, I'll find out exactly how far Linda is willing to go. And whether my plan is clever enough to stop her. Christmas Eve feels like the longest day of my life. The house fills with relatives throughout the afternoon, Uncle Paul and his family, my cousins from Boston, Great Aunt Meredith with her walker and her endless stories. Everyone keeps asking how I'm feeling, how school is going, if I'm handling everything okay since Nana died. I start noticing things I missed before. The way Linda steers every conversation back to my well-being. How she mentions my episode at Thanksgiving to literally everyone who walks through the door. The concerned looks family members exchange when they think I'm not watching. Sarah seems a bit on edge. I overhear Linda telling my cousin Marcus. I'm worried the inheritance pressure is getting to her. Poor thing's been so anxious lately. Marcus nods sympathetically. That's a lot of responsibility for someone her age. By evening, Linda has successfully planted seeds of concern with at least 8 family members. I can feel their eyes on me, watching for signs of the instability she's promised them they'll see. The worst part is dinner preparation. Linda orchestrates everything from her kitchen like a conductor, assigning everyone tasks while keeping the main dishes under strict control. When I offer to help with the stuffing, the same stuffing she drugged at Thanksgiving, she practically blocks me from the stove. Oh honey, you just relax. You look exhausted, she says, positioning herself between me and the pan. Besides, this recipe is tricky. Lots of special ingredients. I bet there are. Around 9 p.m., I excuse myself to use the bathroom and take a detour past Linda's kitchen. She's alone, grinding something with a mortar and pestle. When she sees me, she quickly sweeps whatever it was into a small bowl. Just some herbs for the turkey rub, she says brightly. Secret family recipe. The bowl disappears into her pocket. That night, I barely sleep. Every noise in the house makes me jump, footsteps in the hallway, doors closing, the ice maker cycling. I keep checking my recording equipment, testing the microphone, making sure my phone is fully charged. At 3 a.m., I get a text from Jessica, equipment check complete. I've got your back tomorrow. Stay safe. Christmas morning starts innocently enough. Present opening, coffee, my mom's famous cinnamon rolls. Linda is the picture of a doting aunt, taking photos, making sure I have everything I need. But I catch her watching me constantly, noting what I eat and drink with the focus of a scientist conducting an experiment. You're not eating much, sweetie, she observes when I only have half a cinnamon roll. Are you feeling all right? Just saving room for dinner, I lie. Well, make sure you keep your strength up. You look a bit peaked. Another note in her mental file. Sarah appeared listless and had poor appetite on Christmas morning. Around noon, the kitchen becomes Linda's fortress. She assigns everyone cleanup duties, sends people on errands, keeps them busy and away from her cooking space. When Danny arrives with his girlfriend, I watch him slip something small to his mother when he thinks no one is looking. The fresh supply. I manage to position myself in the dining room around 2 p.m. when Linda starts moving the finished dishes from kitchen to table. She's being incredibly careful about which serving spoons go with which dishes, placing little folded cards next to certain items. When she goes back for more food, I quickly check the cards. Their place settings. Not just any place settings, specific seats assigned for every family member. And my chair is positioned directly in front of 3 particular dishes, the stuffing, the sweet potatoes, and the green bean casserole. My phone buzzes. A text from Linda, hope you're hungry. Made all your favorites face blowing a kiss. The heart emoji makes my stomach turn. By 5 p.m., 13 family members have gathered around Linda's perfectly orchestrated table. I'm seated exactly where she planned, surrounded by relatives who've spent the last month hearing about my concerning behavior and stress-related episodes. Great Aunt Meredith reaches over and pats my hand. You just let us know if you need anything, dear. Linda told us you've been having a hard time. I force a smile while Linda starts serving, making sure to personally prepare my plate with generous portions of those 3 specific dishes. Eat up, Sarah, she says warmly. You need to take care of yourself. The recording device in the fruit bowl captures every word as my family watches expectantly. It's 6:47 p.m. In exactly 2 hours, Jessica will call. The question is whether I'll be conscious enough to answer. I take my first bite of stuffing at exactly 6:52 p.m., chewing slowly while maintaining eye contact with Linda across the table. It tastes exactly like I remember, sage, celery, butter, but there's something else underneath. A faint bitter aftertaste that wasn't there in previous years. How is everything, sweetheart? Linda asks, her voice dripping with false concern. You're being awfully quiet. Just savoring it, I reply, taking another deliberate bite. This stuffing really is special. Around the table, conversation flows normally. Uncle Paul talks about his promotion, Cousin Marcus shows pictures from his honeymoon, Great Aunt Meredith tells the same story about Christmas 1962 that she tells every year. But I can feel Linda's eyes tracking my every movement, monitoring how much of the contaminated food I consume. After 10 minutes, I start my performance. Wow, I'm feeling really full, I say, pushing back slightly from the table and touching my forehead. Maybe I ate too fast. You okay, honey? My mom asks immediately, the worry in her voice genuine and heartbreaking. Just a little dizzy. Probably just tired from the drive yesterday. Linda leans forward with practiced concern. Sarah, you look a bit flushed. Are you feeling nauseous at all? A little, I admit, letting my voice sound slightly confused. That's weird. I felt fine a minute ago. The conversations around the table begin to quiet as family members notice something's happening. I can practically see Linda's excitement as her plan unfolds perfectly. Maybe you should lie down, Danny suggests, but there's something forced about his concern. He knows exactly what's happening to me. No, I'm okay, I insist, then pause as if struck by sudden disorientation. Actually, the room feels kind of spinny. My mom's chair scrapes against the floor as she starts to stand, but Linda is faster. Sarah, why don't you come with me to the kitchen? Get some water, maybe sit down for a minute. Her voice is gentle, but her eyes are sharp with anticipation. This is it. She wants to get me isolated, away from the family, so she can discover me unconscious later and control the narrative about what happened. I think I just need air, I say, standing up slowly and swaying just enough to look unsteady. Several relatives gasp, and Uncle Paul half rises from his chair. Sarah, sit back down, my mom orders, her voice tight with panic. You're scaring me. I'm fine, Mom, really. Just me too. I let my voice trail off and blink rapidly, as if struggling to focus. That's it, Linda announces, moving around the table toward me. I'm calling Dr. Brennan. No. I say quickly, then catch myself. I mean, it's Christmas. He's with his family. I'll be okay. But Linda already has her phone out, making a show of scrolling through her contacts. This is exactly what happened at Thanksgiving, Sarah. We can't ignore this pattern. Pattern. She's using that word deliberately, in front of everyone. Linda's right, Great Aunt Meredith says worriedly. Twice in a month, dear. That's concerning. I think she should go to the emergency room, Uncle Paul adds. I watch Linda's face carefully. She doesn't want me at the hospital, not yet. Medical tests might detect what she's given me before it has time to fully metabolize. She wants me unconscious here, at home, where she can control what happens next. Let's not panic, Linda says smoothly. Sarah, why don't you go upstairs and rest? I'll check on you in a little while. Actually, I say, pulling out my phone with deliberately clumsy fingers, I want to record this. For my doctor. So I can tell him exactly what happened. The color drains from Linda's face. Honey, you don't need to worry about that right now. Just focus on feeling better. But I'm already opening the voice memo app, making sure she can see the screen. No, my therapist said I should document these episodes. Help figure out what triggers them. Sarah, put the phone away, Linda says, her voice sharper now. You're not thinking clearly. But I am thinking clearly. That's the weird part. I look directly at her. I feel dizzy and nauseous, but my mind feels perfectly clear. Isn't that strange? For just a moment, confusion flickers across her features. This isn't how the sedative is supposed to work. I should be getting drowsy and confused by now, not more alert and focused. Because I haven't actually swallowed any of the contaminated food. Every bite I took was carefully stored in my cheek and discreetly spit into my napkin when I coughed or cleared my throat. It's an old theater trick I learned in high school drama class, and it's working perfectly. My phone shows 7:31 p.m. In exactly 1 hour and 16 minutes, Jessica will call. And I plan to be completely conscious when she does. By 8:15 p.m., Linda is getting desperate. I've been maintaining my dizzy but alert act for over an hour, and she clearly expected me to be unconscious by now. She keeps finding excuses to touch my forehead, check my pulse, ask if I'm feeling sleepy at all. You know what, she finally says, standing abruptly from the table. I'm making you some of my special tea. It always helps when Danny's feeling unwell. Special tea. Of course. That's so sweet of you, I reply, letting my words slur just slightly. But I'm actually feeling a little better. Maybe whatever it was is passing. Nonsense, Linda insists, already heading toward the kitchen. You still look very pale. This tea will help settle your stomach. I catch Danny watching his mother with an expression I can't quite read. Guilt? Fear? When he notices me looking at him, he quickly turns back to his dessert. I'll come help you, Linda, my mom offers, pushing back from her chair. No need, Linda calls from the kitchen, her voice strained. Just keep Sarah company. Make sure she doesn't try to get up. The irony isn't lost on me. She's isolating herself in the kitchen while preparing my second dose, giving me the perfect opportunity to address my family. This is really weird, I announce to the table, making sure my voice carries to the kitchen. I keep thinking about Thanksgiving. The symptoms feel exactly the same. Great Aunt Meredith nods knowingly. Sometimes these things run in patterns, dear. Stress can manifest in very predictable ways. But what if it's not stress? I ask, looking around the table at my family members. What if there's something else causing this? Something environmental? Uncle Paul frowns. What do you mean, environmental? Well, both times it happened at family dinners. Both times I ate the same types of food. I pause, as if a thought is just occurring to me. Both times Linda prepared my plate personally. The silence that follows is deafening. From the kitchen comes the sound of Linda aggressively stirring something. Sarah, my mom says carefully, what exactly are you suggesting? Before I can answer, Linda returns with a steaming mug, her smile bright but her hands trembling slightly. Here we go. Chamomile and ginger, with a little something extra to help you sleep. A little something extra. She actually said it out loud. You know what? I say, accepting the mug but not bringing it to my lips. I think Uncle Paul was right earlier. Maybe I should go to the emergency room. Get some blood work done, make sure everything's okay. Linda's grip tightens on the back of my chair. Sarah, that's completely unnecessary. You're obviously just having another anxiety episode. Drink your tea and try to relax. But what if it's not anxiety? What if someone's been putting something in my food? The accusation hangs in the air like a bomb waiting to explode. Danny drops his fork with a loud clatter. My mom's face goes white. Uncle Paul looks genuinely confused, but Great Aunt Meredith's sharp eyes are suddenly very focused on Linda. That's a very serious accusation, dear, Meredith says slowly. What would make you think such a thing? Because, I say, pulling out my phone and opening the voice memo app from Thanksgiving, I have evidence. Linda lunges for my phone, but I'm faster, standing and backing toward the living room. Sarah, you're being completely irrational. Give me that phone right now. Why? I ask loudly, making sure the hidden recorder captures every word. If there's nothing incriminating on here, what are you worried about? You're having a psychological break, Linda declares, turning to address the rest of the family. This is exactly what I was afraid of. The paranoia, the wild accusations, she's not mentally stable enough to handle her inheritance. And there it is. The real purpose behind everything, stated clearly in front of 13 witnesses. My phone buzzes. Jessica, calling exactly on time. Hi Jessica, I answer, my voice perfectly clear and steady. Sarah? You sound completely normal. Are you okay? I'm perfect, I reply, staring directly at Linda. In fact, I've never been more clear-headed in my life. Linda's face transforms as she realizes her plan has catastrophically failed. Now, I announce to my family, let me tell you what really happened at Thanksgiving. I press play on the Thanksgiving recording, and Linda's voice fills the dining room. Sarah's always been the fragile one. Even as a kid, always crying, always anxious about something. It won't be hard to convince the court she's not mentally stable enough to handle that kind of money. The reaction is immediate and explosive. My mom's face goes from confusion to horror in seconds. Uncle Paul shoots to his feet, knocking over his wine glass. Great Aunt Meredith's hand flies to her chest like she's been struck. Turn that off, Linda shrieks, lunging for my phone again. She's doctored it somehow. This is exactly the kind of delusional behavior I've been telling you about. Especially after today's little performance, Rick's voice continues from the recording. Passing out at dinner like that? We'll say it's been happening for months. Oh my god, my mom whispers, staring at Linda like she's seeing a stranger. Oh my god, Linda, what did you do? But the most damning part is still coming. I watch Danny's face drain of all color as his mother's voice cheerfully explains, just a mild sedative. Danny had some left over from his wisdom tooth surgery. 2 pills crushed up in the gravy on her stuffing. The silence that follows is broken by Great Aunt Meredith's walker clattering to the floor as she stands, all 5 feet of her radiating fury that makes her seem 10 feet tall. Linda Margaret Walsh, she says in a voice that could cut glass, did you poison this child? It wasn't poison, Linda protests desperately. It was just to help her relax. She was so anxious, so overwhelmed. You drugged her. Uncle Paul roars. You drugged your own niece. Mom, stop talking, Danny pleads, but Linda is spiraling now, her carefully constructed plan crumbling around her. She doesn't deserve that money, Linda snaps, her mask finally slipping completely. Sarah's irresponsible, immature. She'll waste every penny mother left her while Rick and I struggle to pay Danny's tuition. So you decided to steal it, my mom says, her voice deadly quiet. You decided to drug my daughter and steal her inheritance. I hold up my hand, stopping the recording. There's more. For hours more of them planning how to have me declared incompetent, which lawyers they consulted, how they were going to drug me again tonight. I gesture toward the untouched mug of tea still sitting on the table. Which, by the way, I'm guessing that tea contains the same little something extra as my stuffing. Every eye in the room turns to the innocent-looking mug. Linda's silence is more damning than any confession. Danny, Great Aunt Meredith says sharply, is this true? Did you give your mother medication to hurt Sarah? My cousin looks like he wants to disappear into the floor. She said it would just make Sarah sleepy. She said the inheritance was too much stress and Sarah needed help making good decisions. You gave her drugs, my mom shouts, rounding on him. Both of you gave my daughter drugs. I'm calling the police, Uncle Paul announces, pulling out his phone. No, wait, I say quickly. Everyone freezes, staring at me. Before we call anyone, I need to know something. I turn to face Linda directly. Where are the rest of the pills? Her eyes dart involuntarily toward the kitchen before she catches herself. Cookie tin, I say, remembering her voice from the recording. Top shelf, behind the flour. Danny knows where they are in case we need them over the holidays. Linda's face crumbles as she realizes I've heard everything, know everything. How? She whispers. I smile grimly. You were right about one thing, Aunt Linda. Kids these days are always on their phones. The aftermath unfolds like a controlled explosion. Uncle Paul finds the pills exactly where I said they'd be, returning from the kitchen with a prescription bottle labeled Daniel Walsh, Triazolam, for dental surgery recovery. Great Aunt Meredith examines the bottle with the intensity of a forensics expert, counting the remaining pills against the original prescription date. 12 missing, she announces grimly. From a bottle that should still be nearly full. Danny slumps in his chair, tears streaming down his face. I'm so sorry, Sarah. I never wanted to hurt you. Mom said you were having panic attacks about the money, that we were just helping you avoid the stress. By making me unconscious? I snap, my carefully maintained composure finally cracking. By making me think I was losing my mind? You were losing your mind, Linda says desperately, making one last attempt to salvage her narrative. Look at you right now. This paranoid conspiracy theory, secretly recording family members, accusing us of crimes. Because you committed crimes, my mom shouts, her voice breaking. You drugged her, Linda. You fed my daughter sedatives and watched her collapse. For her own good. Stop. Great Aunt Meredith's single word cuts through the chaos like a blade. Linda, I want you to understand something very clearly. Your mother, my sister, left that money to Sarah because she trusted her judgment. Because she believed Sarah would use it wisely and with integrity. Meredith's eyes are blazing now, and I remember she's not just my great aunt, she's also the family matriarch, the keeper of our histories and secrets. Dorothy specifically chose not to leave that money to you, Linda. She told me why the week before she died. She said you'd already asked her 3 times to change the will, to spread the wealth around more fairly. She said you'd become bitter and grasping, that success had made Sarah grateful while disappointment had made you cruel. Linda staggers backward like she's been slapped. That's not true. Mother never said. She also told me that if anyone ever challenged Sarah's inheritance, I should tell the court about the time you stole jewelry from Dorothy's house during Christmas 2019. The necklace that supposedly went missing when really you pawned it to pay off Danny's credit cards. The color drains from both Linda's and Danny's faces. Around the table, family members exchange shocked glances. I had no idea about any jewelry theft, but clearly others are connecting dots they'd previously ignored. You have always been jealous of what others have, Meredith continues relentlessly. Your sister's academic achievements, Sarah's inheritance, anyone's success that highlighted your own failures. But this. She gestures toward the pill bottle. This is criminal behavior, Linda. This is assault. My phone buzzes with a text from Jessica, everything okay? You sounded weird on the call. I quickly reply, all good. Crisis averted. We'll call tomorrow. Uncle Paul, who's been standing frozen with his phone in his hand, finally speaks. I'm calling the police, Sarah. This has to be reported. Actually, I say, surprising everyone including myself, I have a better idea. I walk to the fruit bowl and retrieve my hidden recording device, holding it up for everyone to see. This recorded everything that happened tonight. Linda attempting to drug me again, her confession about Thanksgiving, her admission about the inheritance plot. Linda's eyes go wide as she realizes the scope of what I documented. Here's what's going to happen, I continue, my voice steady and calm. Linda and Danny are going to write out full confessions, detailing exactly what they did at Thanksgiving and what they plan to do tonight. They're going to voluntarily withdraw any future claims to Nana's estate. And they're going to pay for me to get independent blood and hair tests to document what they put in my system. And if we refuse? Linda asks, though she already knows the answer. Then Uncle Paul makes that phone call, and you'll be spending New Year's in jail facing felony assault charges. The silence stretches for what feels like an eternity before Linda finally speaks, her voice barely a whisper. I want to talk to a lawyer first. Uncle Paul's thumb hovers over his phone screen. That's not how this works, Linda. Sarah's being incredibly generous offering you any choice at all. She can't prove anything, Linda says, but there's no conviction in her voice anymore. Those recordings could be manipulated, taken out of context. I pull out my laptop and open the audio editing software I'd prepared earlier. Actually, I can prove everything. Watch this. I connect the recording device and import tonight's audio file, then open the Thanksgiving recording alongside it. With a few clicks, I create a split screen showing the waveforms of both conversations. See these voice patterns? I point to the screen. This is called audio forensics. The frequencies, speech patterns, and ambient room noise create unique signatures that are admissible in court. But more importantly, I switch to another window showing my phone's location data. My iPhone tracked that I was unconscious upstairs at 4:23 p.m. on Thanksgiving, while these recordings show you and Uncle Rick talking in the kitchen at the exact same time. The metadata is embedded in the files, timestamps, location data, even the ambient temperature recorded by my phone's sensors. Danny looks like he's about to be sick. Mom, she has everything. The pills, the recordings, probably security footage from the pharmacy where I filled the prescription. Shut up, Danny, Linda snaps, but her son is spiraling now. No, Mom, I'm done shutting up. Do you have any idea what this could do to my career? I'm applying for dental residencies right now. If I get charged with conspiracy to commit assault, I'll never practice medicine. I'll be kicked out of school, lose my license before I even get it. Then maybe you should have thought about that before you helped your mother drug me, I say coldly. Great Aunt Meredith has been watching this exchange with sharp eyes, and now she speaks up. There's something else you all should know. Dorothy didn't just leave Sarah money, she left her a letter. I've been holding it, waiting for the right moment. She reaches into her purse and pulls out an envelope marked for Sarah Walsh, to be opened if inheritance is contested. My hands shake as I take the letter. Nana's familiar handwriting on the outside makes my eyes blur with tears. I tear open the envelope and read aloud. My dearest Sarah, if you're reading this, it means someone in our family has challenged your inheritance. I pray I'm wrong, but I suspect it will be Linda. She asked me 4 times in my final year to change the will, each time with different reasons why you weren't ready for such responsibility. When I refused, she became angry and said things that revealed her true character. I pause, glancing at Linda, whose face has gone completely white. I want you to know that I chose you not just because I love you, but because I trust your judgment completely. The money I'm leaving you came from my own work, my own investments, my own careful saving over 60 years. It is not family money that should be distributed equally, it is my money, to give as I choose. And I choose to give it to someone who will honor my memory by using it wisely. My voice breaks slightly as I continue reading. If Linda is behind this challenge, ask Meredith to tell the court about the jewelry incident and the forged check from 2018 that I chose not to prosecute. I have documentation of both. Love always, Nana Dorothy. The room is dead silent. Uncle Paul slowly lowers his phone. Forged check, he asks quietly. Great Aunt Meredith nods grimly. $2,000. Made out to cash. Dorothy had the handwriting analysis done but decided not to press charges because Linda was family. Linda collapses into her chair like her strings have been cut. I was desperate. Danny's tuition, Rick's medical bills from his surgery. So you've been stealing from Nana for years, my mom says, her voice filled with disgust. And when that wasn't enough, you decided to steal from Sarah too. The confession takes 3 hours to write. Linda sits at the kitchen table, her handwriting shaky as she details every aspect of their scheme, from crushing Danny's leftover triazolam into my Thanksgiving stuffing to consulting Mitchell and Associates about filing incompetency petitions. Uncle Paul stands behind her like a guard, making sure she includes every detail I specify. Danny's confession is somehow worse to read. His neat dental school penmanship describes how his mother convinced him I was struggling with anxiety about the inheritance, how she framed drugging me as helping family. But between the lines, I can see the truth. He knew exactly what they were doing and chose his tuition money over my safety. I need to add something, Danny says suddenly, looking up from his paper with red-rimmed eyes. Mom, tell her about Dr. Brennan. Linda's pen freezes mid-sentence. Danny, don't. She called his office before Thanksgiving, Danny continues, ignoring his mother's warning. She told them Sarah had been having episodes at home, that the family was worried about mental instability. She planted the story before anything even happened. I feel the blood drain from my face. You premeditated the whole thing. The drugs, the medical records, everything. Dr. Brennan still has those notes in your file, Danny adds quietly. Mom called him again yesterday, said you seemed agitated about Christmas, that she was worried about another breakdown. My hands clench into fists. Not only did they drug me, they systematically destroyed my medical credibility with the one doctor who's known me since childhood. Every future panic attack, every therapy session, every moment of genuine anxiety will now be viewed through the lens of Linda's manufactured narrative. Add it to the confession, I demand. All of it. The phone calls, the manufactured medical history, the whole timeline. Linda's pen scratches across the paper, each word looking like it causes her physical pain. When she finally finishes, the confession spans 4 pages of detailed criminal conspiracy. There's one more thing, I announce, pulling out my laptop again. I'm sending copies of these confessions to the law firm you consulted. Mitchell and Associates, right? I'm sure they'll want to know their potential clients are confessing to felony assault. You can't do that, Linda protests weakly. Attorney-client privilege. Doesn't exist yet, Uncle Paul interrupts. You never hired them, just had a consultation. Sarah's protecting them from unknowingly representing criminals. I type out a professional email to Mitchell and Associates, attaching the confessions and explaining that Linda Walsh will no longer need their services due to her admission of criminal conduct. Before sending, I read it aloud to make sure everyone understands the scope of what I'm doing. This ensures you can never resurrect this scheme, I explain. Any lawyer who Googles your name will find documentation of this incident. Great Aunt Meredith, who's been quietly observing everything, finally speaks up. Sarah, there's something else you should consider. Your grandmother's will includes a provision about family members who challenge the inheritance. They forfeit any future bequests from the estate. I stare at her. What future bequests? Dorothy left specific items to various family members, jewelry, furniture, family photos. Linda was supposed to inherit your grandmother's china set and silver tea service. Worth about $15,000. Meredith's smile is sharp as a blade. But challenging your inheritance voids those gifts. They revert to you. Linda's face goes ashen. Mother left me her china? She never told me. Because she wanted it to be a surprise. A final gift to remind you of all the Sunday dinners you shared. Meredith's voice turns cold. But Dorothy was very clear, anyone who challenged Sarah's inheritance obviously didn't respect her wishes enough to deserve remembrances. The weight of what Linda has lost crashes over the room. Not just her theft scheme, not just her criminal conspiracy, but her final connection to her mother's love. My phone buzzes with a response from Mitchell and Associates. Thank you for this information. We have removed Ms. Walsh from our client database and flagged her file appropriately. It's over. Completely, irrevocably over. Linda looks up from her confession, tears streaming down her cheeks. Sarah, I know you'll never forgive me, but I need you to understand, I wasn't trying to hurt you. I genuinely thought the inheritance was too much pressure. Stop, I say firmly. Don't you dare try to make this about caring for me. You drugged me, Linda. You watched me collapse and felt proud of yourself. You spent 4 hours planning to destroy my life while I was unconscious upstairs. She opens her mouth to protest, but Great Aunt Meredith cuts her off. Linda, you have exactly 10 minutes to gather your belongings and leave this house. You are no longer welcome at family gatherings. Meredith, you can't ban me from the family. I absolutely can. I'm the eldest living member, and Dorothy specifically gave me authority over family gatherings in situations like this. She pulls out another document from her purse. It's right here in her will. Meredith Walsh has full discretion to exclude family members whose behavior dishonors our family values. Even from beyond the grave, Nana thought of everything. 3 days later, I'm sitting in my car outside the Riverside Police Department, staring at the brick building and trying to work up the courage to walk inside. The confessions are in a manila folder on my passenger seat, along with the pill bottle, the recordings, and Nana's letter. Everything I need to file criminal charges against Linda and Danny. But I keep thinking about Danny crying at the kitchen table, about how his entire medical career could be destroyed. About Linda's face when she realized she'd lost her mother's china forever. About my mom, who hasn't spoken to her sister since Christmas and probably never will again. My phone buzzes with a text from Jessica. Any update on the family drama? Still can't believe your aunt tried to drug you twice. I'm typing back when I see a familiar car pull into the parking lot. Danny's blue Honda Civic. He sits behind the wheel for a long moment, then gets out and walks toward the police station entrance. I scramble out of my car and catch up to him at the door. Danny? What are you doing here? He turns around, and I'm shocked by how terrible he looks. Dark circles under his eyes, stubble, wrinkled clothes like he slept in them. Turning myself in, he says quietly. I can't live with this, Sarah. I keep thinking about you unconscious upstairs while I helped plan. He shakes his head. I'm confessing everything. The pills, the conspiracy, all of it. Danny, wait. If you do this, your medical career is over. It should be over. His voice is flat, defeated. I helped drug my own cousin. I don't deserve to be a doctor. We stand there in the cold December air, both of us holding folders full of evidence, neither moving toward the door. There's something else, Danny continues. Something I didn't put in the written confession because I was too ashamed. My stomach drops. What? This wasn't the first time Mom asked me to help with schemes. Last year, she wanted me to write fake prescriptions for anxiety medication. Said it was for you, that you were too proud to ask for help but really needed it. I refused then, but she kept pushing, kept saying I was being selfish when family needed help. Jesus, Danny. The dental surgery pills were supposed to be a compromise. She said just this once, just to help you through a stressful holiday. I actually believed her at first. He laughs bitterly. Or maybe I wanted to believe her because saying no to Mom has never been an option. I study his face, seeing genuine remorse but also something else. Relief. Like confession is lifting a weight he's carried for months. Danny, what if we handled this differently? He looks up sharply. What do you mean? What if instead of destroying your career, you used this experience to become a better doctor? You could transfer to a program that focuses on addiction medicine, patient advocacy, medical ethics. Sarah, I can't ask you to. You're not asking. I'm offering. I take a deep breath. But there are conditions. You enter therapy immediately. You cut contact with your mother until she gets professional help too. And you spend the next 2 years volunteering with organizations that help victims of family abuse. Danny stares at me like I've grown a second head. Why would you give me a second chance after what I did? Because unlike your mother, you actually seem sorry. And because Nana always said our family was stronger when we helped each other become better people instead of just punishing mistakes. A police car pulls into the parking lot, and we both watch it pass. There's one more thing, I add. I'm keeping all the evidence. Forever. If you ever betray my trust again, if you ever help anyone hurt me or anyone else, I'll use it. Danny nods quickly. I understand. Sarah, I swear to you, nothing like this will ever happen again. It better not, I say grimly. Because next time, I won't be nearly this generous. 6 months later, I'm sitting in probate court watching Linda's lawyer explain to Judge Morrison why his client deserves a second chance to contest Nana's will. Mitchell and Associates declined to represent her after my email, so she's stuck with a public defender who clearly drew the short straw. Your Honor, my client was going through severe financial stress and made poor decisions, but the inheritance distribution remains fundamentally unfair to other family members. Counselor, Judge Morrison interrupts, holding up my 4-page evidence folder. Your client confessed in writing to drugging the beneficiary with prescription medication. She documented her own criminal conspiracy. Are you seriously asking this court to reward that behavior? From the gallery behind me, I hear Great Aunt Meredith satisfied him. She insisted on coming today, dressed in her best church outfit and carrying Nana's purse like a battle standard. My mom sits beside her, still refusing to make eye contact with Linda across the aisle. The confession was made under duress, Linda's lawyer tries. What duress? Judge Morrison's voice sharpens. According to these documents, Ms. Walsh wrote her confession voluntarily to avoid criminal prosecution. No one forced her to detail how she crushed triazolam into her niece's food. Linda slumps further in her chair. She looks like she's aged 10 years since Christmas, gray roots showing, clothes that don't quite fit right, the defeated posture of someone whose schemes finally caught up with them. Furthermore, the judge continues, the deceased specifically anticipated inheritance challenges and included provisions addressing them. Dorothy Walsh's will explicitly states that any family member contesting the inheritance forfeits their own bequests. Ms. Linda Walsh has already voided her right to inherit the china and silver collections. I watch Linda's shoulders shake as that loss hits her again. $15,000 worth of family heirlooms she'll never get back because she got greedy for $400,000 she was never entitled to. Your Honor, we'd like to request a mental competency evaluation for the beneficiary, Linda's lawyer says desperately. My client maintains that Sarah Walsh was exhibiting concerning behavior. Based on behavior your client artificially induced with sedatives? Judge Morrison's eyebrows rise nearly to his hairline. Counselor, I've been on this bench for 23 years. I've never seen anyone argue that drugging someone proves they're mentally incompetent. A few people in the gallery actually laugh. Uncle Paul, who testified yesterday about finding the pills in Linda's kitchen, covers his mouth to hide a smile. The judge reviews my evidence one more time, the recordings, the confessions, Danny's corroborating testimony from his plea agreement. Danny kept his word about therapy and volunteer work. He's transferred to a program focused on medical ethics and spends weekends counseling families affected by prescription drug abuse. His mother still refuses to speak to him. The petition to contest the will is denied, Judge Morrison announces. The inheritance stands as originally designated. The court also notes that Ms. Linda Walsh's confession provides sufficient evidence for criminal prosecution should the beneficiary choose to pursue charges. He looks directly at me. Miss Sarah Walsh, do you wish to file assault charges at this time? This is the moment I've been thinking about for 6 months. Linda drugged me, tried to steal my inheritance, manipulated my medical records, and planned to destroy my reputation. She deserves criminal prosecution. But watching her broken figure at the defendant's table, I realize something important. I've already won everything that matters. No, Your Honor. The civil resolution is sufficient. Linda's head snaps up, eyes wide with surprise and something that might be gratitude. Then this matter is closed, Judge Morrison declares, banging his gavel. Ms. Walsh, your inheritance is confirmed and protected. Good luck with your future endeavors. Walking out of the courthouse, Great Aunt Meredith links her arm through mine. Your grandmother would be proud, she says softly. You fought for what was yours without losing who you are. My phone buzzes with a text from Danny, saw the news article. Thank you for giving me the chance to make this right. I look back once at the courthouse steps, where Linda stands alone while her lawyer packs his briefcase. She'll never have access to my trust fund, never inherit Nana's china, never again be welcome at family gatherings. The consequences of her choices will follow her for the rest of her life. My phone recorded everything while I was unconscious at Thanksgiving. 4 hours and 23 minutes of audio that revealed the truth about who my family really was, and who I needed to become to protect myself. But more importantly, it gave me the power to choose mercy over vengeance. The inheritance is mine. The family secrets are exposed. And Linda Walsh will never threaten me again. Sometimes the best revenge is simply refusing to let someone destroy your life.